Between January and November of 2014, 1,020 rhinos were killed across South Africa. That's 16 more than in 2013. The Kruger National Park recorded the most losses at 672. Limpopo followed with 110, while KwaZulu-Natal was in third place with 70. Experts say that while the number of rhinos lost has increased, the rate at which killings have been taking place has decreased. Rhino Program Manager for the World Wildlife Fund South Africa, Dr. Joe Shaw, says greater international awareness has assisted in funding initiatives that are making a difference.
We've seen some significant donations and some significant embedding of big initiatives in some of our national parks and an ongoing commitment in some of the provincial and private reserves, and these do seem perhaps to be starting to bear some fruit. There are no quick fixes to this. We're dealing with an issue of globalization, an issue of transnational organized crime syndicates. I think it's positive that in the last year we've seen major international leaders talking about wildlife crime on the world stage. But what we really need to see in 2015 is action on criminal syndicates at this kind of level.
Poaching for the sole purpose of acquiring a rhino horn has formed the basis of the multi-million-dollar worldwide illicit wildlife trade. Much focus has centered around the rhino poaching scourge. And Shaw says many feel that funds and efforts should be shared with other serious environmental and wildlife concerns. But she says this is not the time to give up.
Some conservationists are concerned that it's distracting funds and efforts away from other critical environmental issues. The way I see it is our rhinos are a flagship, and it's focusing our attention on the broader issues associated with wildlife trafficking. We must maximize on this opportunity to put global focus on the very important issue.
Spokesperson for Ezemvelo KZN Wildlife, Musa Mtambo, says the year saw a more targeted approach to poaching in private game reserves. He highlighted the success of more arrests in poaching-related crimes in KwaZulu-Natal in 2014.
We have increased the number of people who were arrested for rhino poaching, because in 2013 we made 62 arrests, and to date we have made 66 arrests. We introduced a number of initiatives that were aimed at assisting us to fight this scourge of rhino poaching. The deployment of private security in all our corridor roads. So we spent close to 6 million purchasing security equipment that was then used to fight rhino poaching. We cannot also forget the role played by our community members who were giving us information that led to the arrest of a number of people who were going to poach or were poached in our game reserves.
Meanwhile, the year ended on a controversial note with the arrest of 3 rangers for the murder of an alleged poacher in the Umkhuze Game Reserve in northern KwaZulu-Natal. The rangers were on a foot patrol on Christmas Day at the reserve when a shootout ensued with the suspected poachers. 1 was killed. The arrest has outraged some wildlife authorities who say these rangers form the front line of what's been called the war against rhino poaching. The Game Rangers Association of Africa's Chris Galliers has called for a thorough investigation, saying that rangers put their lives on the line to protect a national asset.
Our country is facing a major problem with the rhino poaching situation. One of the reasons is that we have a very thin and depleted ranger staff putting their life on the line out in the every day. And by taking these rangers into custody and placing a murder charge only further reduces the ability of rangers to protect rhinos out in the field. We really wish that the State Department would take all of this into consideration before they act like this.
Acting Chief Executive of Ezemvelo KZN Wildlife, Dr. David Mabunda, expressed his shock and frustration in a statement, saying that poachers are getting away with murder while law enforcement agencies are at war with one another. Galliers has expressed his support for plans by Mabunda to meet with National Police Commissioner General Ria Piecha in the new year. For the SABC, I'm Pillay in Durban.